right, y'all. What is going on? What is going on? Welcome back to the JJL Sports Talk. Like Gene says, the JJL experience. Welcome to my world. Welcome to me and Kyle's world. Can you hear me loud and clear, Kyle? How you doing, boss?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right,
Hey,
I know the last time that was bad. I was like 14 minutes in. I was talking. No one can hear me,
no,
but
no, you
I want
you
to make
good?
sure. All right. But yeah, man. How you been, man? Hope all is well with you. How's everything going?
Yeah, I got nothing to complain about. Um, a couple of my teams aren't necessarily doing the best right now, but uh, I'm just enjoying all the sports that's going on. So I'm good. Hopefully you're good as well.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I mean, obviously, we're gonna get into some NFL talk. Obviously, the
Hmm.
draft. We're kind of like in full swing with this. With the second round of the NBA playoffs.
Yep.
Like the Lakers and Warriors tonight was going to be a wonderful, good series. I hope it's going to be a jam-packed game one. You
Hmm.
got the stars out on the stage: Curry, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond. I think this is the first time in like what 4 years that LeBron, because just LeBron himself has met with like Draymond and the Warriors back in like 2016. That's like the last time they met the Warriors. I believe
Yeah, that sounds
so.
about
I
right.
know.
Yeah.
I know. Obviously, it's a new team, new looking team with the Lakers. Obviously, new team with the Warriors too. I mean, still got the Curry, Clay, and Draymond, but we got like Kaminga in the mix, Jordan Poole in the mix. Um, but yeah, like we'll say that for the second half of the show. I know I am so happy because I was on the cruise. There was news that we signed Odell Beckham for like a 1 year for like 15 million. Kind of like a prove it deal. Kind of like I think even though it's a lot of money. People have kind of written off Odell Beckham. I would say because like with injury prone and like him not staying healthy for a full year. So I think this is like a prove it kind of deal for Odell. And obviously, you asked me on how I'm doing. I'm feeling good. A 5 year extension with Lamar Jackson. Um, and I mean, we'll get into that later on the Big Three show. Like you brought up a
Mhm.
good topic of how um, the Jalen Hurts deal because we all know that Lamar and the Ravens were at a standstill with contract negotiations. We didn't know what was offered, like 133 over 3 years, one like $2 trillion over 10 years. We don't know what we don't know what the money was offered, um, but it was a long way to stand still. Um, and yeah, like let's dive right into that before we get into the draft because obviously that was the big draft day news before the draft started. Kind of like that because the deal kind of happened right before the draft at 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
So just tell me, man, like how do you think that I mean, obviously you have to get credit where credit is due. Lamar doesn't have an agent, and he got his deal. Obviously, yeah, Hurts got his deal first. But we all said that he's earned his money as well, like Asian list. So we got to tip the hat off, and maybe he can set the precedent mark for other QBs that don't have an agent. So yeah, just talk to me what you're going through with that, and you know, do you
I
see
don't I don't
Lamar?
I don't know if he necessarily sets the mark because kind of like the question I said, it almost seems like because Hertz got his money, it gave Baltimore a better idea maybe of what it would take to get Lamar in there because you know the early part of the process it was all about Lamar wants guaranteed money, well fully guaranteed. So Baltimore seeing that Jalen Hurts didn't get fully guaranteed, there was probably like, hey Lamar, we'll give you, Jalen Hurts got this. We'll give you, I don't know, what was it like a million more? Take it or leave it. Does that satisfy you? And he was like, cool. So I still don't know if the agentless way is the way to go, but I'm also not going to knock him for not having one because that's your decision. If you feel like you can represent yourself, or I guess he has his mom as well. Like if you feel like that's the representation that you need, then fine. You know,
Mhm.
do it your way. I do wonder, you know, why it did take so long, and I think because of that, the Jalen Hurts thing had to be some type of effect on negotiations. Because if these are the numbers that Baltimore was okay with going with, they could have did this months ago. Could have ended all this. Maybe they would have been more active in free agency. I don't know, but it definitely
Mhm.
seems like you know both of them were kind of playing chicken with each other to see who could call whose bluff first. And you gotta say, I guess ultimately Lamar wins in all this if he's getting more guaranteed money than the original offer from Baltimore. And for Baltimore, I mean they get a guy who did win an MVP with them. I'd have to believe they're happy to have him back, otherwise they wouldn't have made the new offer to him. Now with that kind of money though, it's going to come with the pressure with it. With yeah, you have an MVP, that's cool. The one, he's probably going to have to win another MVP within these 5 years. He's definitely going to need
Which I
to.
mean, which I think he can do. I mean, if
It's
it's a
gonna
chance,
be tough
it's
because
not a, yeah, oh yeah, it's definitely hard, but obviously he's a. I mean, I don't want to cut you off, but I'm saying like he
right,
it definitely is possible. I know it's
right,
hard,
yes,
and like but with this whole
ah,
AFC stack, now Aaron Rodgers in the mix in the
exactly.
AFC, yeah.
But he's also got to do better than the one playoff win. He's probably got
Hmm.
to make an AFC title game. He's probably got to make a Super Bowl for all the talk about betting on yourself and then getting the money. Now we got to see results from it. If 5 years down the line we're talking about Lamar Jackson as injury prone, or coming up small in the playoffs and stuff, it'll be looked back on as maybe a missed opportunity from Baltimore to get a guy who might have been in a better situation for them. Or I don't know. There's a lot of ways that this story can now go now that we understand Baltimore and Lamar are together for the next 5 years. They drafted a wide receiver for him. That's been the complaint over the past couple of years. He doesn't have the weapons. Well, you got Odell for a year. They brought in Zay Flowers. Make it happen now.
Right. And like, and I think that with Lamar's contract, obviously it helps him. It also helps the team because, like, obviously that deal's off the table, and we can have at least more money to get better pieces. Another cornerback to fill Chuck Clark's role. Maybe we can like trade away Duvernay, or I know we didn't pick up Patrick Queen's option, so we probably can get a linebacker, or maybe it's like a prove it deal for Queen. So I mean, obviously with you want your QB in the room, and I think it's I mean, like people are saying like on Twitter, and people they're saying it's like the Ravens were desperate because obviously Burrows was next in line, or Herbert was next in line to get his next deal, but obviously they had agents. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they both have agents. I don't think that makes a difference, but like the Ravens knew that once Hurts got his deal,
Mm-hmm.
it's either gonna be Lamar's gonna get his deal first and then Hurts, or Hurts gonna get his deal then Lamar, and then Dom's gonna fall with quarterbacks: Burrows, Herbert, who else? Lawrence. Well, he's still on his rookie deal still, kind of I think, but
Yes.
um, I think we can feel a little bit more better as Ravens fans, being we have a little more leeway with like roster moves. Obviously, I don't think we're done yet as far as like free agency. We might get you know maybe trade away like James Prochet and get another receiver to fill that role, or Duvernay, or keep him as a special teams guy, for So there's a lot of leeway we can do that, and also I think that it works out with us is because not just for Lamar and his family, just for Ravens organization too. Because obviously with a QB like I'm pretty sure you want Mac Jones to be say well you have a new offensive coordinator right in Matt Patricia
Oh, Bill O'Brien.
or Bill O'Brien. So I'm pretty sure you want Mac Jones to be like in the building for OTAs, and so he can get like accustomed to the new receivers.
Mhm.
So that's good that we have Munkin, so he can get in to the room with him early, or maybe work with some of the quarter or like receivers out in Florida. I know last year him and Bateman worked out in Florida, like threw it together, threw the ball. So maybe they'll get, maybe Odell and Lamar will probably, get together. But it's good to have LeBron sign so you can have. It's better to not have him sign and walk in training camp unsigned, and then have him sign and then kind of like under contract where he can like have that because you want to have your offensive coordinator and your quarterback on the same page. Um, on time. So it's rather than obviously Monken in the interview because it's funny I bring that up because a reporter asked him that in his introductory press conference. He was like, "Oh, do you have any worries about Lamar being like missing action or week 1 or week 2?" He basically just said like that's any quarterback that you have in the room that's like that's a veteran quarterback or your star quarterback. Like if he missed a couple, yeah, he's gonna be behind, but he has to get accustomed to like the playbook. But now since he signed, got his deal. He should report on time to OTAs. People were saying he's gonna sit out and wait for a contract, do like the Aaron Rodgers route, like not play or not. But the deal got done. Yeah, I wanted as a Ravens fan, I wanted the deal to get done beforehand, maybe like after his MVP year, like everyone else wanted to. But the Ravens I don't well I called it in the sense that the Ravens played the ball right because they knew that once they set the like you can really write a whole book on this because the whole like all season book because like obviously they slapped the tag on him.
Hmm.
The franchise the non-exclusive franchise tag, 32 million under the cap.
Hmm.
He went on Twitter said that he made a trade request to the Ravens. So I'm assuming, and he dropped the bomb like right, like when Harbaugh was gonna do his like owners meetings, like press conference meeting. So I'm pretty sure that like maybe he was kind of serious about leaving the team, but then I think this was a kind of push the needle of contract talks, maybe to get them like the ball rolling. Obviously they got Odell. Yeah, obviously, yeah, he's injury prone, but obviously, I want to see him, do good. I want to see him be like the post or the pre-injury Odell.
Yeah,
Hopefully, he might get revenge on the Browns. I don't think they did him wrong, but with the whole Baker Mayfield
yeah,
situation, um,
I guess.
but I guess you could agree with me that you rather have your QB1 in the room.
Yeah.
Day one OTAs,
Hmm.
mandatory mini camp, training camp. Because like you said, you mentioned a lot of new players. Zay Flowers. We got unsigned or undrafted receiver Demarius Jr. He's from Maryland. They said he might make the roster. Um, he's a tall, big body receiver, like 6'2", 6'3". Um, we got Odell Beckham. So there's some new heads in the room. So obviously got Mark Andrews, the tight end number 1.
Hmm.
Um, I'm just excited to see this offense. And I'm not trying to be biased. I'm trying to be a real NFL fan. Like I want to see because Monken kind of led that Georgia offense with Stetson Bennett and that Georgia team. So he's a kind of like their pro style, like that the Ravens are in.
Well, I don't know. I feel like Georgia offenses are built off of running backs. I
We got
I
Dalvin.
would I
We
wouldn't
got
really say Stetson Bennett was like a star.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna say that like the way he operated, like he puts the right people in the right position. I guess like he uses
Well,
his like the
that's
tight
easy
ends.
to do with Georgia when you get nothing but 5-star recruits.
Well, I'm saying it's gonna be more easy when you
Anybody
have
could do
like,
that. The
well, yeah,
the question is going to be, does his talent translate to
well,
NFL personnel?
Well,
Like
he was in the NFL with the
that
Browns.
that was a while ago.
I mean, still, but he still had the NFL experience.
I mean, I'd have to see how
Just
did
like
those
Brian,
Browns
just like
safeties keep
Brian,
with him.
not I say Dable, Bill O'Brien. He was in NFL at one point, and then he went to college, and he's back in
Yeah,
the NFL. So it's like,
I mean, Bill O'Brien had Deshaun Watson, and his offenses were pretty lethal. I can't remember Monken and Cleveland what their offense looked like.
oh, he helped Baker Mayfield pass it for like 3,000 yards. Um,
I mean, 3,000 yards today is nothing. You got to be 5,000, six
well, I'm
thousand.
saying in that time when he was a coach, like or the coordinator, he was like that. He kind of helped Baker Mayfield have that one good year. But I mean, obviously, like Lamar's in the building. We got Odell. I mean, obviously, he worked with Odell before in the Browns, so they got the chemistry there. And Zay Flowers. I mean, there. But I guess the point is new faces. It's good to have your QB1 in the building.
Yeah,
But yeah, let's talk about the draft, man. So I know, I mean, a lot of people have been talking about pick 1 through 10. Obviously Bryce Young went number one, Stroud went number two. The Texans had the 12, 13 pick traded back up into the draft. Got Will Anderson.
hmm
The Colts got so who was picked third? Was that Will Anderson?
yeah.
Okay, and then a lot of people have been talking about uh, Anthony Richardson at number four to the Colts.
hmm
But like, who was your like? What pick did you like, and what pick did you not like, and what pick do you think that, or what team do you think benefited from a pick? From in a good way.
I think, hmm, I think the Eagles definitely benefited with Carter at 10.
Georgia, I mean Philadelphia Eagles, I mean Philadelphia Bulldogs, like, like they're all full
I
of bulldogs,
mean,
man.
most that's where most teams are picking. Like you pick Georgia guys, you pick Alabama guys, you pick the
Alabama,
teams that
Ohio
do
State,
well.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I like that pick for them, which kind of connects to the pick I don't necessarily like. I did not like Bijan Robinson to the Falcons. I thought the Falcons were going to take Carter. He played at UGA, and from being down here, like UGA football is life down here. So I
That'd be
thought they were going to
perfect.
take that opportunity. You get a guy in the D line. Grady Jarrett's getting up there in age. They brought in Calais Campbell, but Calais Campbell's up there in age. Why not bring in Jalen Carter to learn from those two? They passed on him. The Jameer Gibbs pick to the Lions made me scratch my head a little bit, but they heard that the Patriots were in on him. The Patriots picked at 14. They jumped up to 12 to take him. If that's what their intel told them, I guess I can't necessarily be upset by that. I do think it's kind of high to take a running back, but Jameer Gibbs is a really good one. So, maybe that works out for Detroit. Uh, I mean, I did think it was interesting the run on wide receivers after nobody took one for a while. And then it was what, like the Chargers, Ravens, Vikings all took one right after each other. I thought it was interesting that Addison was like the last in the group where Flowers went before him, JSN went before him. I think Johnston went before him or right after him, but whatever. So I do like that pick from Minnesota. I like pairing Addison with Jefferson. Obviously I like my team taking Gonzalez. Cornerback was a position of need. I liked Witherspoon a lot. He went a little earlier, but the fact that they were able to get um, Gonzalez after trading back a couple of picks, I really like that. I like what Houston did. Now, if you're going to tell me Houston is going to be maybe a fringe playoff team next year, then I think the move up makes sense. If they aren't, then you're going to look back at the move and say, was it worth it? Because they had to give up their first and third next year. So if they're bad next year, have a top pick, they won't have it because it'll be the Cardinals pick now. It'd be a missed opportunity for them to get another guy to put into the, on that team to help improve it. So D'Amico Ryans in Houston, they have to feel like with CJ Stroud, Will Anderson, that they can compete in that division this year, which ultimately probably they can, because the Colts will be trotting out Richardson, what that's going to look like. Tennessee, they will Levis. Will he be the starter? Will they?
It's like a rookie. It's like a rookie division.
Right. So if Houston's looking at it like, why can't we win it? Then I'm fine with them moving back up to 3 and being aggressive, getting what most people say is the best defensive player in the draft to go along with their new quarterback. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other picks we'll probably talk about, but that's kind of my, at least at the first round, those are the picks that really caught my attention. Even Nolan Smith, once again, to the Eagles, he was a Georgia guy who I thought was going to go way before pick 30, but because of the way the draft went and some decisions that a couple of teams made, he was available to them. So I definitely like what Philly did in the first round. The Jets taking Will Anderson, questionable, but I mean, that's what the draft is. Some of the picks that we're saying is questionable could turn out to be the best picks in a couple of years. And some of the can't miss guys that we feel like went to good situations, maybe they don't pan out. So we'll know more about it in like 3 or 4 years, but initially that's kind of what I kind of like the Eagles, like what the Patriots did, like what Houston did. Wait and see on the Falcons and Lions picks.
Yeah, I mean, this draft was like, I mean, other than like Bryce Young going number 1, and I thought Will Levis was going to go or you're either in the top, not 5, but like top 10 possibly, because he was kind of like.
I never bought into that. I think the way that he fell, yes, it was probably uncomfortable for him sitting there.
And the way ESPN was just showing him so many times. It's like,
but he had to know being invited to the draft, that's something that could possibly happen. I think Keon White did the same thing who the Patriots got in the second round. He was there night 1. Yeah. He didn't get picked. He went home, then heard he got picked, which is the same thing Will Levis did. Maybe for Levis, him moving down to the second round takes some pressure off of him so that when he gets his opportunity with Tennessee, the fans aren't putting too much on him right away. They'll be able to be patient with him. Maybe he benefits from that. Maybe he puts a chip on his shoulder because he didn't go in the first round. We've seen that happen with some guys where they outperform their draft position. That's what Tennessee's got to be hoping for right now.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think the best. I mean, the Tennessee might got to steal with Will Levis because, obviously they don't know a question mark around Tannehill. Apparently, according to Jory, because he's a Tennessee fan, they don't have really faith in Malik Willis. I don't know why. I do know why.
I did not like what I saw from him. I think he's probably in a Richardson type of position. I think he needs more years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're not really giving him a chance, I guess. That's kind of fair because, obviously he got thrown into the fire because of Tannehill got hurt. Yeah. So and then they had Joshua Dobbs playing. So, yeah, like you said, I think he reminds me of the athletic ability of Lamar because he can run. But he's a little bit more accurate right now, accurate thrower than Lamar a little bit. I don't know. That's kind of I'd say Lamar is a little more accurate, but it's kind of close. But I think that, like you said, I think he's a couple
more accurate than who?
Lamar, in terms of accuracy, like throwing the ball.
Yeah, I'm talking about and who are you comparing him to? Lamar versus who?
Malik Willis from the Titans.
Oh yeah, Lamar's way more accurate than he is. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's like he's a little more. No, Lamar's way more accurate than Malik Willis. But
Yeah, but I think that
Kind of
like
like you
it's
said,
not
I
like
just think he just needs more time. Yeah.
yeah, of course, of course. But I think that and plus with the question mark about Derrick Henry, I don't know if he's coming back. I know he's injury prone too, like he's with that foot injury, like it's kind of
He's,
lingering.
he's
But
at
I'm
that rough
surprised
age for
that
running backs.
right, right, and I'm surprised that um I'm not sure. Did Tennessee have a first round pick? Tennessee got a comment in the
I think, yeah, didn't they? I'm trying to think who they took though.
Brett guarded three. Said better challenge name players that are less accurate than Malik Willis.
Yeah, yeah. Malik Willis, from what I saw last year, it just looked like a guy who's not ready for NFL speed yet.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of their quarterback situation,
And,
they.
and,
I mean, I don't know if Vrabel wanted to play him last year, but out of necessity, he kind of had to turn to him. And now they understand he's not the guy maybe they thought he was, or he's not as prepared as they thought he was. So now you put him in a room with Levis, because Tannehill's going to be gone at some point. He's not getting another contract with Tennessee. It's going to be, it's going to be like, do we go forward with Willis or Levis, and whoever they pick, they probably trade the other guy away in a couple of years.
yeah, I do agree on that. I mean, I think Jory. I mean, I appreciate you for the subscription to the channel. I think she's tuning in. I think if you're in here, Jory, if you're listening, tuning in, if you're tuning in, please give your input on the Titans. I know you're a Titans fan. So give me your input. Like, I don't know what pick they had, like first pick, but they could have went with a receiver. I know they need a quarterback because I know their kind of quarterback room is kind of questionable right now with Tannehill, and then they got Dobbs, I think, still on the roster, and then Willis, and then they got Levis now. So it's going to be a lot of off season or training camp competition for who's going to be starting role.
Oh, they had number 11.
Number 11. So there
They
was
took
100%.
Skoronski.
Skoronski. What position did he play?
He's a tackle, which made sense.
They need every hole to be filled, but I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like I don't know any like. I mean, I don't want to be like sound funny, but I don't know anybody in that receiving room. Right now, like I don't know anybody that
They have Treylon Burks. They have
who.
Treylon Burks, Westbrook.
I mean, yeah, but
how do you pronounce it? Yeah.
my point. Exactly. I don't.
Well, I could also say maybe those guys aren't household names because of the quarterback position. Tannehill's taken a step back. And, like Brett said, Malik Willis wasn't accurate. So those guys weren't going to look good with him either. So, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily write off the wide receiver room. Looking at it now, yes, they probably could use an upgrade there.
I mean, their best tight end, ever not tight end, their best wide receiver was AJ Brown, and he got shipped to the Eagles. I mean, and Corey Davis. I mean, they were, that was possibly, potentially, that the next, if they all stayed healthy and everything, that could have been that good duo for Titans. But obviously, AJ Brown wanted like a better situation, and Corey Davis, I think he's on the
AJ
Jets.
Brown was kind of injury prone too.
Yeah, he was.
So I'm not mad if Tennessee moved on from him, but Tennessee's in a weird position though, because
they are
with Derrick Henry and all that. They were like, we'll take a chance. Maybe we make a surprise run in the playoffs. Hasn't really happened. They've used so much of Derrick Henry that they have to seriously think about, even if they bring him back, like, how's he going to look? Can his body hold up to an NFL season anymore? If not, maybe there's some value out there. You move him, you get, future picks or whatever. You're not necessarily tearing it from the ground up. Maybe they're trying to retool in the middle of it, which is always a scary situation to be in, because some teams that try to reload probably should rebuild, but don't want to necessarily tell their fans that they are rebuilding. So I don't know. Tennessee's and with that division, like, you don't want to necessarily rebuild if you have a chance to win the division.
Right.
So I don't know. It's
Yeah, they're kind of like in a, like you said, they're in a tough. They're in a pickle right now because obviously, it's kind of like we we probably. I mean, Richard's probably going to start for the Colts, possibly. You have Will Levis probably
there's no
possibly.
possibly there. You take
He
Richardson
is.
4, he better
He's
start.
starting.
I think Ursay said he's gonna start. I mean, if you take a guy 4th overall, he better be your day
Starting.
one starter.
So I mean, you got. Well, who is it? So it's the Colts, it's the Tennessee Texans, and
Jaguars.
the Jaguars.
hmm
So I
Jaguars
mean,
will be the favorite next
Jaguars
year.
be the favorite. Yeah.
I would say don't sleep on Houston. I mean,
They need some
yeah,
receivers, man. Maybe
I
like
mean
one receiver or two.
that's another situation though. You tell me what your receivers would look like with
A
Davis
rookie
Mills at
quarterback.
quarterback.
That's
I mean,
true.
unless you have Randy Moss, Justin Jefferson, I don't know what it would look like. So at least with CJ Stroud, maybe the wide receivers don't look as bad as we think they are right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anybody in the receiving coach for
I knew
Brandon Cooks, and he's out.
he was literally the only guy I knew because he's bounced around probably way too many times for a guy as talented as he is, but he got
But
out
I
of
mean,
it.
I do have faith in D'Amico Ryan's. I think he's going to turn that team around.
hmm
Um, like what he did with San Francisco, like on the defense side of the ball as a defensive coach. He's around good people. It reminds me of like a Mike Brown, NBA Mike Brown. He was on that Steve Kerr coaching tree.
hmm
You know, um, the Kings were kind of a bad team, and then all of a sudden Mike Brown came as a coach, and he kind of like took what he learned from Steve Kerr and kind of like sprinkled on his talent onto the Kings, with
hmm
De'Aaron Fox. And at one time he had Buddy Hield, but now he's on the Indiana. But
Yeah.
with Sabonis and Harrison Barnes, obviously a former teammate on the Warriors.
hmm
Same thing that happened with D'Amico Ryans. He can, learn from Shanahan and working with Nick Bosa and Wagner
hmm
and um, these other great players. He can sprinkle his knowledge, what he learned from Shanahan, and that's a wonderful coaching tree to come from. Like that's like the perfect apple to fall from that tree because you know, uh, like people respect Shanahan and what he's done with the 49ers. So obviously another. And I applaud another African American. I'm being serious. Another African American coach get another opportunity. I know I hate how they did Lovie Smith, but we all knew that wasn't probably going to
He was
last.
not the long term
But
answer.
who knows? It could be it could be a good marriage with C.J. Stroud and D'Amico Ryan. They can be a good fit. I think that it'd be a perfect glove. Um,
I will
so
say
mhm.
their wide receiver room actually is not as bad as I thought.
Really, well, I name the player. I don't.
They have John Mechie,
Oh, Messi. Oh,
Alabama guy.
wow. Okay.
Uh,
Well, like, wasn't he
Robert
injury prone,
Woods,
or did he come from an injury or ACL or something like that? Messi.
I think so. Yeah, they got like I said, Robert Woods, Bobby Trees. He's when he's on the field, he's pretty good. They drafted Tank Dell. They drafted Xavier Hutchinson. They have Amari
Okay.
Rogers, who I don't know why that didn't work with Aaron Rodgers. I loved Amari Rogers coming out of Clemson. Um, they have what tight end? They got Dalton Schultz. Yeah, I'm actually. Yeah, it's not a bad situation for CJ Stroud to go into.
Yeah, I mean, I think that. Well, it's kind of crazy because, like, I think 2 weeks before the draft, or like a week and a half before the draft, the Texans they said they were out of a quarterback, but I think that was just smoke
Never bought
screen.
that. Yeah,
Um,
never bought that.
Kyle's lying face. I think they're gonna pick a quarterback.
They had 2 and 12. It
Yeah.
made way too much
Right.
sense
Right.
that one of those picks wasn't going to be a quarterback.
They just kind of like said it to say it.
Yeah,
Um,
they probably didn't
but
want it to turn into. Um, it was probably to save from that story about Lovie Smith winning the last game, costing them the first pick. So because Carolina had the number one pick, we knew Carolina was going to take a quarterback. Houston's probably going to be like, yeah, we have the number two pick. We don't have to take a quarterback. We could go defense at 2, and then 12, kind of see what's there. Where most people who looked at it was like, if you have the number two pick in this quarterback class, the quarterback that you have in Davis Mills, you're clearly going to take one of these guys. They weren't fooling me. Some Texans fans might have been shocked by that, but I knew they were taking somebody.
Right,
and
right.
not mad at them for taking CJ Stroud.
So I guess the answer to my own question, since you answered kind of the second question for the NFL, for the draft, like, for the first round, I like the for the first round. What I like because I was gonna answer the question about, well, obviously there's I'm basically stealing the recipe from the Tonight Show, kind of like they're kind of the same questions I had from for
Mm-hmm.
um. So I guess the first, like, that's not my team. The draft the pick that I like for was probably, I like what the Eagles did in the first round with getting uh Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. I mean, they're they're grown men, but they
Mm-hmm.
have years to come to like even be even greater, like to like establish
Yeah.
themselves. Um, Great
Mm-hmm.
defensive players. Um, I thought Carter was going to slide because of what happened with the whole accident and the whole like he kind of like um because he was high on the boards before all that happened. He was the best, probably the best, next to Nolan Smith, probably one of the best defensive ends or defensive player in the draft. Then the whole accident happened, and then there was a clip on Twitter and ESPN and other social media outlets saying that. I mean, he was at his pro day, like kind of looking slow and sluggish. So I thought he was gonna fall for that. Because you obviously want to be fit and ready to like do those
Mm-hmm.
drills. So I thought
Yeah.
he was gonna slide down the draft boards, but I mean the Eagles. I mean we can all say the Eagles won the draft. What a great pick for them. And then they got, well, I guess we can go to the second round. They got Kelly Ringo. I thought he was gonna slide to us in the second round or third round. Because then, but we picked Trenton Simpson, which we'll get into in
Mm-hmm.
the second round. But like, cause I'll say in the chat, like, please draft Ringo, like, for the Ravens, please, please, because I thought he was gonna go earlier than like the second round because the way he came from Georgia, you know what I'm saying? So,
He
um,
started dropping after. I, I feel like he was a guy who most people thought was going to drop to the second round because I don't think he had as strong of a year this past year than the year before. And I mean, I think he's still going to be a really good player. It's
yeah,
just that
and he's on a good team now, so it's like
yeah, I think he
he
kind of
can learn from
turned into more of
Slay
a
and
second
like,
round. Yeah.
yeah. And then I guess I would say my worst pick or like the best fit, like I said on the money show was probably Stetson Bennett to the Rams. I think that's the only good fit because like obviously, people weren't really high on Bennett. Um, he's gonna slide late rounds anyway, but with the
He's like
Rams, like,
28. That's
huh?
one
Or
of the
I thought he's
he's
20.
like
I thought he's
I know
26,
he's only like I think it's like
but he's
26, but I was
old.
just
I
like
know he's old. Yeah, he's old, but
that's old for a quarterback. So I think that's working against him
so is he
for
still
sure.
is it, so that's weird. Is he still considered a rookie even
Yeah.
at 28?
Hmm.
He's like a super senior, or
I mean,
super
well,
senior.
I'm assuming he had like 2, 3 redshirt years at Georgia or
Well,
something.
half of that was due
That's
to
the only way
COVID,
I can see
right? Was that a big part of it? Because they had that COVID year that was kind of part of this college
that.
collegiate, I guess you could say.
Yeah. A
And
lot of guys got an extra year
the,
eligibility because of COVID. Yeah,
um,
so I
so
guess that plays part.
but I mean, I think that's a good fit for the Rams because, like I said on the Monday show, that like uh Matt Stafford is like a pick or hit away from in his career ending, or I wouldn't say that, but like the doctor said that it's up to you to play football. It's up to you. Like 'cause the thing is his spinal injury. Um,
Hmm.
but I mean, now we got another Paulo Pagani was like a 35-year-old rookie.
Hmm.
uh,
I remember that.
Pop,
Yes.
Brett with the comments. But yeah, Pablo Prigioni was like a 35-year-old rookie in the NBA. Haha. um, but yeah, I mean, I think that it's the right fit because obviously both Georgia quarterbacks. Uh, Stafford played in Georgia, and then Stetson Bennett kind of led his team to the national championship. So they kind of had those ties, and what a way to work. I mean, what a QB or what a coach to work with than other than Sean McVay. Obviously, they were a year from, or when I say two
Depending on how
years from the Super
committed he
Bowl.
is to, because he almost left this offseason.
Yeah,
I'm
true.
I'm still watching McVay to see if he's
Kind of
really committed
closely.
to the Rams or not. Yeah.
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 But I think that I mean he even if Matt Stafford is a injury from in his career, he can still learn from Matthew Stafford. Um, and like I'm rejecting the Rams to obviously start Stafford. Depending on how he does and if he gets hurt, and
Hmm.
then maybe Stetson Bennett can come in. Obviously, I don't know who other QBs in that room. I know Mayfield was on Buccaneers now, so I know
Yep.
that it's just right now it's just Matthew Stafford and Bennett now in that room. So obviously they still got one of the top 10 receivers in Cooper Cup, but I know he's injury prone now. But I mean, obviously he had a full offseason to get recovered in the Cooper Cup. So
Yep.
I mean, he has the weapons. I would say. You still got Cam Akers. I mean, he's kind of he can fumble the ball a little bit here and there. Um, but hey, I think they won their trade for their team. I'm not saying they won the draft, but they won
Hmm.
kind of like that for now. I guess we'll see. But like you said before, we can talk about this. You said that we don't know these players that we're saying question marks on, they could be studs, in the league 5 years down the road. Like, you don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, obviously, Seth Bennett is 28, 26, but maybe he can do good for the Rams when he gets the opportunity. So I'm not saying he could or he will, but there's a chance that any of these there's players that they can slide and not do good. They can be this what
Hey, worst case, Stetson Bennett's in the XFL or USFL in a couple of years.
yeah.
It's a
Um,
living.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. For sure. But I guess we can go on to the next question. Who is I guess talk about your team, the Patriots. Talk about what your team did in the draft and what do you think about your draft picks?
Like I said, I love the Gonzalez pick. I think
Mm-hmm.
with the McCourty retirement, I think Jalen Mills will probably factor into the safety room a little bit more this year. Gonzalez is a guy who I think is like 6'2". He's fast, real instinctual. I think Belichick's going to love him on defense. We'll have to see how long it takes for him to get into the starting lineup. The Keon White pick is intriguing to me because he's a guy who was a tight end to start his college career, then made the transition to defensive end. And the fact that he did that and was taken as a high second round pick shows that there's a lot of progress that's been made there. It makes you wonder how much more progress can he make. Maybe he becomes a really good D end in the NFL. Um, I liked the wide receiver picks late, Butte and Demario Douglas. Probably probably see more from maybe Butte this year. I think Douglas could be a special teams guy this year, maybe grow into a bigger role next year. Or Bill O'Brien might use Douglas the way they kind of used Marcus Jones last year as a gadget guy. because I think they want Marcus Jones to be cornerback this year. I like the fact that they took a kicker and a punter. First team since the Raiders when the Raiders took Shane Leckler and Janikowski. Both were positions of need. Nick Folk is getting up there in age. They bring in Chad Ryland, who's a Maryland guy. So kicking in the Big Ten, he's kicked in Elements. So when he kicks in New England, shouldn't be a big issue. They got Behringer as their punter, who's a guy who just has a big leg. Love that. Kind of goes against maybe Belichick's normal way of drafting punters, but I'm fine with that. I also love the fact that, Deion Sanders talked about it. The Patriots were the only team to take an HBCU kid, which Deion was upset by that. The Patriots are the only one to do it. He probably won't make the team, but at least he's getting the opportunity to go to like a training camp, pick up on some things, and maybe he can latch on somewhere else. And I'm
What position was he?
Huh?
What position was he?
He's a cornerback. But I think
okay.
he could play safety in the NFL because of his size. He could be a special teams guy as well. And then I like the fact that they got Malik Cunningham as an undrafted free agent. And
That's
Cunningham said
right?
Cunningham said he's open to a position change, which I thought was interesting because a lot of guys don't necessarily want to change their position, but he said he's willing to do it.
Quarterback to what? A receiver?
It's been done. Logan Thomas was a quarterback at Virginia Tech. He's a tight end in Washington. Now, Logan Thomas was a bigger guy. Julian Edelman was a quarterback at Kent State, became a wide receiver for the Patriots. So it's been done before. I think with Cunningham's size, he could probably be a wide receiver.
How tall is he? He's pretty tall quarterback.
I think Cunningham's like 6'3", I think.
6'3"? Yeah, I think Lamar was pretty happy because obviously he went to Louisville. Mm-hmm. And so he was pretty happy about that pick that the Patriots got.
Yeah, and if he becomes a slot wide receiver, fine. Maybe he's like a third down back. Maybe Brett would know this player. Maybe he's like a Ty Montgomery, where he could play a little slot.
Played for the Ravens, yeah.
Ty Montgomery, he did?
I think he was a running back, right?
He's like a running back / wide receiver.
Yeah, I think he did.
I don't like the Cordero Patterson mold. I think Cunningham could be one of those guys who you could line up in the backfield.
Yep. He played with the Packers, right? Packers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely played like I think 1 year, 2.
He might have. I couldn't.
He bounced around a lot.
Mm-hmm. Ty Montgomery's actually in the Patriot system right now. So who better from Cunningham to learn from than Ty Montgomery himself? Yes, Brett, I get it. He may have cost you that game against the Rams, but you do know the man, Ty Montgomery. So maybe Cunningham becomes a Ty Montgomery, Cordero Patterson type, or maybe the Patriots get him into camp, see what he can do as a quarterback, and they say maybe there's something there that we can work with. But I liked a lot of the picks. They took some linemen as well, which I think is thinking more down the line because they have a couple of guys in their offensive line who are kind of on contracts next year. So I like what they did overall. I'd give him probably, B- grade.
Yeah, I think, y'all got, who was your first round pick?
Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, yep. So I guess for my team, the Ravens, I know we got, I either wanted JSN, but he fell to the Seahawks. Because I knew a receiver wasn't gonna go like in the first 10 picks because I knew it was gonna be quarterback and like defense heavy. But I didn't. So I wanted either JSN, I wanted Zay Flowers, and I wanted Addison for receivers. I wanted JSN because he was a big body receiver. The other two, Addison and Zay, are kind of short, but they still have a lot of talent and they're fast.
Mhm.
Lamar needs that big body receiver, but no, I'm happy with Zay Flowers. For the first round pick. Obviously, like you said, when we talk about Lamar's contract, that obviously Lamar needs more talent in the receiver room as far as his Mark Andrews. I know Bateman's coming back from an injury. I know he was injured after he got drafted. I think he had a groin injury, and I think he had like a knee or something, or elbow injury or something like that. Bateman, but he'll be back full healthy. So it does help. Zay Flowers is. I mean, Gene always says that obviously he comes from Boston College, so that team that doesn't really get shine like Alabama or like Ohio State or like the Big Ten schools
Mhm.
because like they're a small kind of school. 'Cause, I mean, so
It's not.
but
It's not a small
it's not
school.
small, but it's small as far as
It's academic reasons why. Because Boston College, you need. I'm trying to remember because I once applied to them. I think you have to be like a 1500 SAT, and
Well,
it's kind of like Notre Dame. Notre Dame has the same issues, except Notre Dame is a bigger brand,
yeah.
so they get a lot of the players who probably would have gone to BC, but they'd rather go to Notre Dame anyway.
One thing as far as it's like national
Yeah,
attention.
brand exposure, yes, yes.
Yeah,
BC's
that's
on
what
the small. Yeah, yeah.
um
I just wanted to say,
yeah,
that
yeah, like
a lot of the issues are academic based, and it's hard for them to get top notch talent there.
yeah. And Zay Flowers like he reminds me of like a he reminds me of like a an unpop. I mean, I didn't even make this comparison. I know I did. I said AB yesterday, or like a better polished like Hollywood Brown, because I know they're about the same height, but I think Zay
Hmm.
Flowers has a better like run after catch ability. When he's out in the open and catches a slant route or like a go route or a or a post hook route. But another comparison I think he reminds me of, or he can be. I'm not sure what his vertical was, but he reminds me of a um a D Hop, as someone who was short. Well, D Hop's like 6'6", 6'6" but I think Zay Flowers like a 5'11", but he could be like that. The go,
Say Flowers is 5'11".
I think
Not
he
a
is.
chance. I've always thought he was like 5'8".
Let me see.
Is Zay Flowers taller than that?
Zay Flowers. He
5'10".
is.
Really? Okay.
He's 5'10".
I don't know. When I see him on, hmm, okay. When I saw him at
Yeah.
BC, I always thought he was like 5'8". Okay,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
taller than I
So like,
thought.
yeah, yeah. So like he reminds me he could be. I'm saying his run after catchability could be like because he has top notch speed. He
Hmm.
ran like a what a 4.5 or a 4.3. That's what Gene said.
I think he ran like 4'4" or something.
What was I'm gonna look up his Zaya Flowers 40 yard dash. 4.42.
Yeah.
So that's kind of So he has a run after catchability of a Tyreek Hill, and he has the hands of like a D Hop. And I think his ceiling would be like because I don't know, I'm not sure, but I think his floor could be like a D Hop, kind of like that. Definitely a better route runner than Hollywood Brown was. Because I saw highlights where he can go get it, go get the
The,
ball.
the only thing with the D Hop is more outside the numbers, whereas I think
That's
Zay
true.
Flowers will be doing more
And
in
he was,
between the numbers.
and like you said, he's more. D Hop is more like a blocking receiver, where he can block and get outside.
Hmm.
Get open. That's why you said D Hop will be a good fit for us because like for now because of that's what he can do now. He can block and he can get open in the middle. But I mean I wasn't going to be mad at either Jansen, Zay Flowers, or Addison. Addison, I know he went to the Vikings.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that was definitely. I mean, Zay Flowers can be the steal of the draft for the Ravens, and like he can be because he was a bit to go higher than 22 or 23, whatever he went to.
I don't know about that. I I
Because
I
it
I
was him,
still think
and Addison. Like they were kind of like
I
in that
think
kind of like
both
that
guys
stratosphere
kind of went in the area that
that they
they
should have.
probably because I feel like early in this process, a lot of people looked at this wide receiver class and was like, you know, Zay might be in the teens, JSN might be like 10 to 12 range. Addison would be shortly after Zay, or however you want to rank those three. So I think they kind of fell where you would have thought. Quentin Johnston's the guy who early in the process was seen as maybe the first guy to be taken, but he fell to the
I
mid
think he was
range, to the mid
I think he was
20s
number
range with
two
the other
receiver taken.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was Jason first, and then it was Quentin Johnson to the Chargers for the
right.
second round pick. So
Which I understand that for the Chargers because
I mean, I thought he
they're
was gonna fall
they're
to us
used
too.
to.
Like big body receiver.
Yeah, but the Chargers are used to that. Mike
Yeah,
Williams,
Keenan
Keenan
Allen.
Allen, Johnston fits that group.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the first round was definitely a win for us. Second round or third round, we had a third round pick. Trenton Simpson. There was talks that Patrick Queen was, he kind of wiped his Instagram, and he the other day
They declined his
he
his
declined
fifth
his
year or
or he
whatever.
didn't or they didn't pick it up his
Yeah,
option. But many people thought that that's the reason why they got Simpson, due from Clemson. He can play like he can play Queen's position. He can play D back. He can play kind of like a hybrid, kind of like that. He can play like anywhere in the middle, outside linebacker position. Um, but EDC said that Jory, hey Jory, thanks for tuning in. Jory said that PQ knows he won't be there much longer. She's right. Jory is right. I think that this. I think the reason why. I mean, I don't see. I don't see the issue with Patrick Queen. I thought he did a good job, like holding down the middle with Raquan.
clearly not. They declined the
But
option, unless
this is
maybe
like a
they
prove it
could
deal.
have declined it because maybe they think Queen may price himself out of their range.
Yeah,
This could be a trickle effect of Lamar's new deal. That now they're
yeah.
like, we can't pick up Patrick Queen's option. Or they could just look at Patrick Queen and be like, had a nice run here. You go do you, and we got Trenton Simpson, and we'll, fill your role other ways.
Or it can be like a prove it deal, like play out the year. If you do good, maybe we'll sign you in the offseason next year, or go the other route and have Simpson in that role.
Mm,
Kind of breed Simpson and kind of learn, because I think Simpson's ready to play now. Like, I mean, obviously he can learn from Patrick Queen and like Raquan Smith and like, I mean, but that it's gonna be scary, man, with Adafia Owe, Ojabo coming back real healthy, PQ.
you know how I feel about the Ravens defense, so I'm not gonna rehash what I say, but yeah, be optimistic.
Wait. I mean, say it on your chest, man. How you feel about the?
I told you, you can score on the Ravens defense.
I know, but
Yeah.
I mean, look, listen. Ojabo was hurt half the year. We don't know how he's gonna look like with Adafia on the other side.
Mm,
Raquan Smith, I mean, a full year with us. Um, Humphrey. Peters. He could get signed. I think he's gonna get signed with Rocky Sin. Cause he better Rocky Sin, man. I mean, I like the name Rocky Sin,
mhm.
man.
It's a good name, yes.
Like that basketball player Steve Ho, you fat man. Oh man.
Hey, it's your name, man.
Oh, by
Can't
the
do
way,
anything about
there was breaking news that Raiders charged or Henry Ruggs 30 to 10 years for the fatal accident. To be honest, I don't think that's enough. I think he should. I don't
it.
know.
Yeah,
Um,
especially for the outcome of his actions, that does seem a little light to me.
kind of got
But
luck. 3 to 10 years. So I guess
yeah,
if he does 3 good years, he's out. I guess 3 to 10. So it's not like 10 solidified years
Mhm.
for a death. I don't agree. I don't agree with that. Um, but that's kind of breaking news today that the judge came down on that. But yeah, I mean, like you said, there's a lot of optimistic. I mean, I think we're gonna be good. I mean, obviously, we need to fill that role, that Chuck Clark role, fill somebody. I think Rocky Sin will fill that role, or um, maybe Marcus Peters will get the deal done. But EDC made it seem like Simpson would. EDC made it seem like they're gonna keep Pastor Queen and keep Simpson, like, because he thinks they can
Uh,
both be good
if
players.
they were going to keep him, just pick up the option. At least that way, you know, the 5th year, that would be a prove it type situation. If you just pick up the 5th year option and then you tell them, however you perform, we'll either extend you out or we'll just let you walk. The fact that they declined it makes it seem like they're ready to move on from him. Kind of like what Jory said.
Yeah,
You know,
PQ knows it.
eh, if the team doesn't pick up your 5th year option, that means they've pretty much given up on you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But it is
Um,
Baltimore. For all we know, he'll sign an extension next week because I don't know what Baltimore's really going, what they're really doing, because I thought the Lamar situation was going one way and went the other way. So maybe that's what's happening with Patrick Quinn.
right, right. Um, is there any more NFL news we got to talk about? I mean, we covered everything really. Up to date. Aaron Rodgers of the Jets. Um,
Yeah, I it's just so much attention to this guy, and
Miss, hey,
poor
Miss,
poor Jets
hey,
fans
this,
are really
this,
sitting there
this
thinking
is
they're
the
a Super Bowl
platform, man. Speak
favorite.
your piece, man.
So I'm just saying, Jets fans are walking around like they're gonna be in the Super Bowl next year, and I'm just like, have you been paying attention to the last, I don't know, 10 years in Green Bay? That's what you're gonna get. Yes, you'll get primetime games because it's Aaron Rodgers. Okay, he's gonna go up against a good defense in the playoffs. He's gonna not show up, and then Jets fans will be mad at the world. So, they had his little press conference. Then he did his little workout with the team, which past couple of years in Green Bay, where was he in the offseason? Nowhere to be found. He's hosting Jeopardy. He's hanging out in caves. I mean, it's all a show with Aaron Rodgers. Maybe it is a good thing he's in New York. I give it 2 weeks before the media gets on his nerves and before he gets on their nerves, and I'm just gonna sit back and laugh about it. That's where I'm at with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, obviously, I think it's a kind of a kind of a big boost, obviously compared to Zach Wilson. Obviously, it's a big upgrade. Um, to be fair, they got
Mhm.
Lazard. I mean, they got basically the receivers that he wanted. Well, not all of them, but well, not yet. I mean,
Yes, they got everybody short of
Randall Cobb,
Odell.
but oh yeah, what did
Randall
Randall
Cobb,
Cobb get?
you can get Randall Cobb. I'm sure nobody's knocking down Randall Cobb's door at this point.
Huh?
They can
True,
get
true.
him week before preseason. Plenty of time
But yeah, I mean, they got Garrett Wilson. I mean, they still got a young core and Brees Hall coming back from injury. Um,
until Aaron Rodgers writes all of them off. But
yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see how the Jets do. I know that's your division with Patriots and
and I'm not even
Miami, and
worried about them. Not at all.
uh,
I'm more worried
but
about Miami and
oh,
Buffalo.
the Bills. Yep, the Bills. Yeah. So I guess we'll end the NFL talk. We're coming up on an hour and 10 in the show, so we'll switch to the NBA. I'm excited. So I guess why not? I'll steal your question because it's a good question for the tonight's show. Who was the biggest disappointment? The Bucks, or you had
Grizzlies.
the Grizzlies? Um, do you want me to go first? You want to go first, or
Go ahead. Yeah.
I think the biggest disappointment out of those teams was probably the Bucks. I'm sorry, Brett. I know Giannis was hurt like a game or two, but um, I mean, I don't know how the hell they lose to. I mean, I'm not knocking anything off of Jimmy Butler. He's probably the only one that's I like on that team. Kyle Lowry kind of was. We all said that how he shoots and how he plays. But how the hell like do you have Drew Holiday? I know Chris Middleton's kind of shaky when it comes to like or consistent about shooting, which he should be a good shooter.
Yeah.
Brooks Lopez and Giannis. Um, how you lose technically 4-1? Um, might as well get the brooms out.
Hmm.
Um, at that point, the reason why I picked them over the Grizzlies is because I knew the Lakers were going to win that series. I didn't think it was going to be a sweep. I think that Grizzlies were going to win one or two, to be fair, to give them credit. But I knew as soon as Dylan Brooks opened his goddamn mouth, you know, Braun didn't have to say
That's
anything.
not why the Lakers won.
No, it's not why they won, but I mean, it gave LeBron more fuel, of course. I mean, he didn't. That's why he
If
didn't. That's why he didn't respond to
LeBron
him.
needs a random dude and Dylan Brooks to give him fuel, like
No, but I. It's not. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm
I,
saying that like
I know what you're saying, but I'm just like I don't think
you
Dylan
know what
Brooks
I'm saying.
factored in any way in any of this. Dylan Brooks is trying to play a character that he can't handle the responsibilities of. That's it.
I mean,
They
but
won that series because the
they
Grizzlies
just
are
played
the
harder.
worst shooting team in the league.
Yeah.
They can't buy a bucket. Like they were relying on John Morant to hit threes. And if John Morant's your best 3-point shooter in the series, you got problems. Give him all the credit. I've said if John Morant could become a consistent perimeter scorer, look out. He becomes unguardable. Desmond Bain did all he could. I'm not going to put any blame on Desmond Bain at all in this series, but Luke Kennard's, Dylan Brooks, um, with Aldama, guys like that, what did they do? Jaren Jackson, underwhelming. That's why the Grizzlies lost that series. I'll let you continue. I just wanted to say that because I know Dylan Brooks is topic of the week because yes, he opened his mouth, he bricked some threes, well, plenty of threes he bricked, and now he's a free agent, and I don't know where he plays next year. I could not even think of a prediction right now. I don't know where he goes. Yes, as Brett said, Adams and Clark being out, like they
Yeah.
were behind. They were
That
behind
kind of
the eight
hurt.
ball in this series to begin with. I still picked them before the series because I thought we're gonna get a big Luke Kennard series or a big. I thought Luke Kennard and Desmond Bain were gonna be big from the 3-point. I thought Jaren Jackson, they put him in pick and roll. He'd pop out, knock down a couple of threes. That didn't happen. Yeah, Xavier Tillman. It's probably unfair to him, but I'm just gonna sound crazy. But I played 2K, made a character, played on the Grizzlies, and Xavier Tillman was like one of the worst people in the game. So looking at him, I'm always like, how's this dude in the league? And then I watch him against AD. Come on, man. Like you a big body. Like do something. Throw a clothesline. Do something. I mean, do something. He didn't do anything in this series.
Who
But yes,
Tillman?
yeah, Tillman,
Yeah.
Tillman, and Jaren Jackson were just underwhelming. So that's why they lost it. But I mean, like I said, continue on with the Lakers because they
Yeah,
did
yeah.
win
I
it.
was. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I was gonna focus on the next first topic. Just like the reason why I put the Bucks over the Grizzlies is
Mhm.
because like the Bucks were number one seed. They got beat by like a eighth seed or seventh seed.
Yeah, AC, yeah.
So I mean, I give props to Spoelstra for keeping that team under wraps. Like level headed. Jimmy Butler went off. He had a spectacular game. Well, was four game 4, I think, when he went off. He had that crazy layup and that and one
Mhm.
to like kind of close his door on the game.
Which he
I'm sorry,
blatantly
Brett.
pushed off. That was as blatant as I've
I
seen,
mean,
but
but the Bucks
it's the
that in
playoffs.
that game, the Bucks had so many opportunities to like take the
Mhm.
lead in that game
Yes.
with the call that I think was the call like way before that happened. It was a call where it was was it the Butler screen and then it was called out of bounds and it should have been Heat ball. It was like inverted like penalty like whistle.
Mhm.
Like so many missed shots like late in the fourth quarter. Missed free throw opportunities. Let me pull up Brett's comment. Thank you, Brett, for being active in the chat, man. Appreciate that. Let me put your comment up there. Read it. Outside of the Bucks, I think the biggest disappointment was the Kings shooting. Barnes and Hunter or Herder completely dipped in just overall rough shooting. Um,
Yeah.
so let me put that off there. Um, yeah. So that's why I put them over the. I mean, yeah, yes, the Grizzlies were number 2 seed, so kind of was the Lakers kind of did upset. I mean, I guess you would say since they were 7 seed, I guess. But yeah, the biggest upset was probably the Miami Bucks series. I mean, um, I thought it was gonna be Bucks, Knicks, and the Bucks gonna sweep the Knicks. Um, with Giannis, but I know Giannis was hurt a couple games and he had a back spasms or a back sprain. Um,
Mhm.
but um, yeah, I mean, do you agree with over Bucks over Grizzlies for the biggest disappointment, or do you see the Grizzlies over?
No, I do agree the Bucks are the biggest disappointment, and as Brett also put,
Brett,
it exposed Coach Bud as
Bucks deserve to lose
look.
between missed shots.
Yeah,
Oh, they had timeouts to use too, and then use those either to advance the ball.
Budenholzer is an overrated coach. And remember, before the Bucks won that title, Bud was probably going to lose that job. And then they win it all. It gave him a couple of years grace period. He's just
Mhm.
not that good of a X's and O's, sideline type guy. You watch him most games, he's kind of just standing there looking at stuff. I don't need that as a coach. Yeah, give me something. I mean, you don't have to be Nick Nurse because he complains about like literally every call. Although Nick Nurse, maybe he ends up as the Bucks' next coach if they do decide to move on from Budenholzer. But you look at the coaching matchup. You knew Spolstra was the better guy going into it. It was just a matter of could Giannis will this team enough, even though he shouldn't have as much responsibility on his shoulders in Giannis.
Mhm.
You have Middleton, you got Portis, you got Lopez, you got Drew Holiday, Pat Connaughton. Like you have really good. Grayson Allen. Depending on what you think about Grayson Allen, you have guys who know what to do. Yet against this Heat team, like Miami looked like the more physical team. They were the more consistent team in critical situations during the game. And I mean, I don't know if I want to say that maybe people were overrating Milwaukee. I just think it's the whole coach Bud. He didn't do enough to put this team in better situations. Because even in the closeout game, when they had the ball late, do you know what play they were running where and ended up in Grayson Allen's hand? He up faked at the 3 point line. He should have pulled up, but he decided to keep going to the hoop, and time ran out. Like that's stuff that when you see that, you're like, is this team well coached for that situation? And I think that all falls on Coach Bud. Yes, Giannis being hurt definitely doesn't help, but it's also the infuriating thing about Jimmy Butler in Miami. Like you almost see like they don't care about the regular season.
Sure.
They just
Yeah.
wanted to get into the playoffs, and now they've turned it up a level to if I'm Milwaukee and the Bucks are and the Heat are the 8th seed. I get Miami's not a normal 8th seed. Like they're probably like a 6th seed, maybe. I'm sure the Bucks would have loved to see in the Heat. I mean, not the Hawks or I don't know the Raptors. They probably would have loved to seen that. But Miami with their structure and all that, they're a much better team than your normal 8th seed. Look at the 8th seed in the West, Minnesota. That place is a train wreck right now. Miami, you have Jimmy Butler, and everything kind of falls in line after that. And Jory, I completely agree with you. That's why I keep telling Jets fans, yes, you got a big name in Aaron Rodgers, but come talk to me in December and January when you need him to show up. Well, like I said, just wait and see.
I don't want to hear about Rodgers or Lamar until September to me. Oh my god. Well, good luck with that because I'm a Lamar fan. So,
Look,
hey, if I'm a
Jory,
Jets fan, I'm not a Jets fan, but if I was a Jets fan, I would have Lamar over Rodgers. So,
eh,
I mean, they can both win you games, but I mean, with youth,
just want the name because in New York, Rodgers is gonna sell. I was gonna say sell newspapers like people read those anymore, but just use the term. Rodgers is gonna sell.
hey Jory, you might have to
newspapers,
slap, like you might have to
sell
slap me in
ads,
the
and do all that.
Jory, like you might have to slap me in the face because I'm gonna say Lamar. Like, I'm sorry, you might have to slap me in the face till I turn white.
Jory, look, I'm gonna sympathize with you because I agree. But with this dude over here, every episode, Lamar will be a part of the topic.
What are you gonna do, Kyle? You in Atlanta? I'm in Jersey. What you gonna do about it, bro?
I
Take a
don't
flight?
have to do anything about it. I'm gonna be here to keep it real about Lamar when you come up here with your Lamar is the best quarterback of the AFC. I'm gonna be here and be like, nah, he's not. See, just by me saying that, look at how you react. You're like, oh,
no. Well, now because obviously, I mean, the AFC has gotten better with quarterbacks with Burrow, Dylan, Mahomes, or Lamar, Lawrence. It's fair to say that the NFC is. I mean, obviously, it's kind of open right now with
the NFC is weak, and Rodgers couldn't even cut it there.
Other than Hurts, I mean, maybe Jones can get you rushing for 1,400 yards.
Bro, the NFC makes Kirk Cousins look like a
god,
top 5 guy. Yeah, Brock Purdy is like a top 5 guy in the NFC right now. Brock Purdy.
Hey, Jory, if you're still watching, I'll trade you Dobbins for Mark Henry. Or not Mark Henry, Derrick Henry. No, I don't want him because
you're trying to fleece people with that one.
I mean, they're both. I mean, Dobbins is better, but they're both injured.
No way Tennessee takes that. Yeah, see?
He's more realistic than Freddie with just Daniel Jones prediction. Brett's like he's more realistic than Freddie with his Daniel Jones prediction. Jory says, "Hell no." He said, "What?"
If I'm Tennessee and Baltimore calls like, "Hey, you want Dobbins?" I'm hanging up. What's Dobbins going to do for me?
Just keep your injury prone Derrick Henry, his foot injury or whatever.
Derrick Henry can at least
if
Derrick Henry played only 6 games, there's a good chance he probably gets me 1,200 yards in 6 games.
Well, how do you are you getting the niggas on the bottom of the corner? Because you're getting them before me. Are you popping up on your screen too? The comments?
No, I see them in the little comment section to the side.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Cause I feel like you're reading them before me. I mean, I'm getting them like on my screen. They're coming up on the like kind of the little bot thingy that you told me to
box,
get. Yeah. So I'm getting the little.
Yeah, that chat box is like a couple of seconds delayed.
Does the comments show up like on the live stream? The comments, or do I see those?
Yeah, the chat box will pop up on the live stream.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want. It's just sorry about that, fans. I'm trying to just get used to this whole melon I could
Mhm.
share over the StreamYard from StreamYard, but
See, Jory said you're spewing nonsense.
I'm blocking the number. Now you're spewing nonsense. Ha 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 ha. What else did you say? Another comment popped up. Jordan is hating on Henry's injury history as a Lamar fan. Ironic. I mean, to be fair, I mean they're both injury prone. But
Well,
obviously
now you
Lamar,
gotta look at Jory's other message. She addresses the injury prone.
injury prone, a broke foot in 2021, and he dang near had 2,000 dang near 2,000 all-purpose yards this past season. All right, Jory. I mean, I'll give you that. I mean, because no one else was touching him at the time with rushing yards as a running back. So, I mean, he deserves that, right? He deserves that stat. I mean, who else was?
They don't call him King Henry for nothing.
That's
Nobody's
true.
calling Dobbins King Dobbins. I mean, I'm just saying, man.
I'm sorry, man. I kind of was. You know what? Kyle, get the hell off the show, man. Just for that
I
freaking
mean,
comment.
hey, that's my time. I'm good.
No, but oh man, that was a good one. I mean, no one's calling your QB King Mac.
I'm not the one throwing out Dobbins and Henry being comparable. And like, hey, Mac Jones will be fine. Okay, Bill
What do you,
O'Brien will have a system in place, and
Guardy
he'll be good.
Brett's like, what do you think about? What do you think the K is stands for in JK? I don't know, Brett. You tell me. But yeah, y'all, like keep the conversation going, y'all in the chat. We're kind of gonna stick to the NBA. That's an NBA. So what? Um, second question. So what's the best second round series in your opinion? I mean, obviously, um, the Suns are up 2-0 on. I'm sorry. Um, Denver is up 2-0 on the Suns. Game two or series two. The crazy game that happened last night. Philadelphia and the Celtics. Actually, Philly's up 1-0.
Hmm.
My sorry, Pop. um, my my
I mean, I picked Boston in 6, so
Miami is
I
up
hope you don't
1-0
take my
on
number.
New York Knicks.
Knicks Heat will be the best overall series. I think it could be. Now the Jimmy Butler injury,
Yeah, it's kind of a little
I hope
shaky.
it doesn't necessarily take away from the series because I look Knicks Heat back in the '90s was must watch TV. Maybe this is a rebirth of that rivalry. So I do think that's probably going to be the best second round series. You know, Denver Phoenix could still turn into something. I'm interested to see tonight with Warriors Lakers like what that looks like because in my mind I could see where the Grizzlies fell short in perimeter shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Golden State has plenty of perimeter shooting,
Right, right.
so
Well,
that could create
like Gene said on the Money Show, like back in the day, they Clay was it was Stephen Clay, like the
yeah.
the Splash Brothers, right? I mean, obviously that was before the end, the both. I would say for any other player, career-ending injury with
Yeah.
Achilles, and then or ACL first, and then Achilles. But Gene, like Gene said, I think that um, like the Warriors use kind of Clay. Obviously, it's for still shooting purposes, but more for defense purposes because he's a big body shooting guard. And I think he was like 2 for 11 like in Game 7. Like I mean,
Well, I
I
mean,
feel like if he can,
Sacramento,
I feel like he can
Sacramento
find a
made it
rhythm.
tough on him though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think the Lakers can make it tough on him too. Where we'll see,
Here's the
we'll see,
thing that I still say about the Lakers
because the
defense.
Lakers are a good
Lakers
defensive team.
defense
Like,
is a good interior defensive team. Perimeter wise, they can get lazy out there and leave guys open. That's my
true.
worry in a series against the Warriors, where if you just completely lose Clay and he gets open shots, I guarantee you he'll have a big game or two in this series if they do that. That's where Grizzlies completely missed the boat. Like all those bricks from Dylan Brooks, a lot of them were wide open. If he were a competent 3-point shooter, this series looks different. But he's just a guy out there running his mouth and throwing up bricks.
I know Zion
Then
ain't.
the Lakers defense looks great.
I know Zion ain't talking, man.
Zion can't shoot. So Zion wouldn't even be taking them shots. You know what Zion would have done? He'd have got that ball, three dribbles,
went to the
over
rim,
somebody, and dunk on somebody. Dylan Brooks ain't doing that. Dylan Brooks kept shooting these threes like he was Steph Curry, and somebody need to tell him he's Dylan Brooks. Be Dylan Brooks. If you want a cheap shot, a couple of guys, do it. You want to be a villain, do villain things. Don't be a villain and try to, play on the perimeter like you some skilled guy. You're not a skilled guy. You are in the league for physical purposes only.
right? So like, who do you think? I mean, I'm not sure if you answered it, but like, who's your best second round matchup? Like, I mean, obviously, we're kind of like a game or two into the couple series. Yeah. So who do you want to see? Or I'm excited for obviously tonight to see what game one has to offer.
Yes.
Two heavyweight teams. I mean, obviously with Curry and Clay, and LeBron, AD. Obviously a new look Laker team with Russell and Vanderbilt. So a more young players. Obviously got the Knicks and Heat. Celtics, Philly. I want to see. I mean, like Jeremy said, and like Brett have said in the chat, in the Sports Empire chat, that there has been a talk that Harden has these couple good games in the playoffs, and he kind of like settles down like some.
That's why I'm not stressed in game one.
But then who
got
knows?
One of those good games out of the way early.
Well, who knows? Who knows if Embiid comes back in game two?
Mr. Balenciaga, he's not playing game two.
To Joel Embiid,
he's not playing game two.
You don't think he's playing?
No. Since they won game one, he's not going to play game two. They're going to wait, give him extra days, play him game three. Philly? Worst case, you go back to Philly 1-1. Who cares? I don't think he plays game two.
Yeah. I think Reed kind of filled that role good last night. Like, he kind of stood his ground.
Can he do it again?
I don't know. I don't know much about Reed.
I'm not stressing it.
So
I'm not stressing it so much. I refuse to watch ESPN today because I know they're overreacting, and if I watch it, I'd probably lose it. But I'm good. They'll be fine. Celtics
with 6. So yeah, I was going to ask you, like, what teams do you have winning each series? This next series, like, who do you have going to the semifinals?
I've got
conference finals. I mean,
I've got Knicks in 7, Celtics in 6, Nuggets. Well, I think I had Suns before the series. So after what I've seen, I'm going Nuggets in 6.
I mean, you can still have. They can. They still got Durant. Chris Paul kind of has that groin now. So
yeah, it's the Chris Paul injury sweepstakes. Bound to happen at some point in the playoffs. We've got it now. I mean, the only way I see the Suns beating the Nuggets, Booker and Durant are probably gonna have to score about 75 points a game between the two of them. If you can guarantee that, maybe I could see them winning it. But with the Nuggets already up 2-0,
I think last night's game was the game they should have won to like turn the series around.
Right. And now Denver's going to Phoenix.
Because
Like,
it was a back and
you
forth
only have to
game. Like
win
it
one
was,
in Phoenix.
it was a good game. I mean, last night it was
Mhm.
back and forth, and then Denver just pulled it off.
Yeah, and I just think Nuggets in 6 right now, and then
I think it's sweet. I think it's a sweep. To be honest, Denver
I
sweeps.
don't see that. I think Phoenix gets 1 in
But now with
Phoenix.
Chris Paul injury, I think it's a sweep.
I feel one of those games in Phoenix, like Durant and Booker, are just gonna go off, and Denver's just gonna have to deal
But
with
still, who's
it.
gonna? I mean, who's gonna guard? And well, obviously, I mean, Porter
Um,
didn't really show up
you
yesterday, but
have campaign. Hello,
I don't.
I can't stand him, so I don't care. Yeah, if Chris Paul can't go, they are seriously in trouble. You know, the worst case, you just say campaign, you run around, you chase Jamal Murray, make it tough on him. Can you at least do
Like
that?
the Nuggets are they're in a prime position because I mean obviously Murray has recovered from his knee. He's
Yep.
more like the fresh player. Michael Porter Jr. is kind of coming back from injury. Like he's kind of like finding himself. Caldwell Pope. I mean, he's doing his thing. I mean, so I feel like Denver has more firepower. I mean, obviously with KD and Booker, you still have those one two combo players.
Hmm.
Um, got a comment. Joy said they're gonna rest
Yeah,
Embiid.
they're not
That's what,
playing Embiid in game 2. There's no chance. Doesn't make
but
sense. Although, for the LCL, he was over there dancing around late, but yeah, he's not playing game 2.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I do agree with Phoenix. Probably has maybe the 2 best players in this series with Booker and Durant. The problem is Denver's coming at you with Jokic, Murray, Porter Jr., Gordon, KCP, Jeff Green. Who look, Jeff Green's going to be 75 dunking on people in a nursing home. Like that guy does that every playoff run. You know, they have pieces to throw at Durant and Booker. Where you're looking on the other end, they can't cover all these guys. So either everybody on Denver completely slumps at the same time, or I think Denver takes the series. And I feel okay with that because a lot of people were questioning Denver coming into the playoffs. Like, Jokic, back-to-back MVP, can't get out of the first round, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I think Denver's going to be in the Western Conference Finals. So that should solidify Jokic as an MVP player. There's a good chance if the Nuggets get past the Suns that the Nuggets should be in the finals. They'll have to go up against, Warriors or Lakers, which could pose some issues, but I would still give the Nuggets the advantage because of the depth that they do have on their team. So,
yeah, sorry. I mean,
Warriors, Lakers. I have Warriors in 7.
between game 7. I mean, Jory does have a point. When it comes to the Suns, really they have no chance because they have no bench. Like you said, they traded away Cameron Johnson. He's on the Nets. Dallas is like they're like that big stretch that they needed to shoot.
I do want to say I don't understand why Terrence
they
Ross
do have
isn't
Terrence.
playing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Terrence Ross is a walking
Warren
bucket.
too.
Yeah, Warren. Yeah, but Terrence Ross is a bucket.
Yeah,
I don't understand why he doesn't play.
And I mean, TJ Warren, he can give you a couple threes here and there. Like,
well, I mean, based off what they lack on the bench, those 2 guys should be playing minutes. I don't understand why they're not playing.
Yeah, I think the dude Chris in our chat was like, I don't know why Monty Mills is not playing them.
What do you have them for?
I don't know who else is on their bench.
Maybe that's a change for games 3 and 4. Maybe we see those guys. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe are they hurt? They're not hurt. I mean, this is undisclosed. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. But I have.
Did they argue with Monty Williams and he's punishing them? Like I don't get it.
This stick around. The matchups are pretty interesting because like you got the Heat and Knicks. Butler's injury could hurt the Heat down the stretch. Depending on how long he stays out for. Randall should be coming back. I think either tonight or maybe in next game. And
They need Brunson to step up.
Brunson to step up. So I think
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
Brunson had a rough game.
Man, I want to go with Heat because Butler. But I don't know. I think I might go. I might go Knicks in 7. I think they're going to 7.
I kind of want to go Heat just to see Stephen A. melt down. But
Denver. I'm going with sweep or they're going to win it in 5. I think, like you said, they might win a game. Phoenix might steal a game in Phoenix, and then, and I think Nuggets could win a game in Phoenix, and then win it in Denver.
Okay.
And then the last series is Lakers and Warriors, right? Or no, Philly and Celtics. Depending on if Embiid comes back or he will come back like throughout the series, it could change things as far as what they do. Because Embiid's like, I think he said we all know, or they will announce the MVP. I think tonight. I believe that's what Gene said. So I'm going because the Celtics have the better players as far as Tatum and Brown. They got to use Frank, or they have to use White more. I would agree because he's a good shooter. So I feel like Celtics, and I feel like that's going to go to another 7 too. So I'll Celtics in 7. And then I think the last series is Lakers Warriors, right? I have Lakers. I have Lakers in. I have Lakers in 6. But it could go to a 7.
You were thinking about that. I thought you'd come with like a Lakers in 4, and I was about to say, oh man,
Lakers sweet, baby. No. I'm gonna lean towards either Lakers in 6 or Lakers in 7. It's gonna be a good series. I mean, I'll probably change. It'll probably change my decision after game 1 to see how it goes.
Nah, you gotta lock in a prediction now.
Well, Lakers in 6. That means that say Lakers win tonight, Warriors win 2. That's game 2, and then it goes back to LA. That's game 3. They win that, so it'll be 3. It'll be 2-1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they win it. That'd be 3-1, and then maybe I think Warriors win. That'd be 3. So I think Lakers in. All right, Lakers in 7. Lakers in 7. I think it's going to be a tight series all the way. I mean, the Warriors have the better offense and the better shooters, but Lakers have the better defense on like interior defense, and I think Hand has a plan to guard the perimeter, especially with Vanderbilt on the team. He gives that length. Yes, I'm going Lakers 7.
Yeah. Okay. I'm watching game 1 to see their perimeter defense because I've seen plenty of times where
you can't just
sink into the lane and then they stay there.
You can't just judge. You have to watch maybe games 1 and 2 to see their defense. Because you can just judge.
I've seen this all season from the Lakers. That's what I've seen all year, where people are like, "Oh, Lakers have this great defense." No, they have a great interior defense. They beat a lot of teams who can't shoot from the perimeter.
Well, I'm pretty sure they have a game plan against the Warriors and Clay, and I'm pretty sure they have a game. And I think they have another player is Wiggins. Man, he can go off too. So there's another player who can shoot the 3. But as far as big men, that's gonna be a good matchup. Looney and AD. I think AD has the upper hand, a little bit. So yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be a good one. It's not gonna be a sweep either way.
also, at least Looney's gonna be around the rim.
Yeah, that's true.
Jaren Jackson at times wasn't even down there. Looney lives down there because that's all he's gonna give you. So I do think that's gonna be a better matchup to watch. He and Davis fighting on the boards.
Brett. Okay, let me pull up his comment. This comment first. So he said that the bubble T.J. Warren is a top 5 player in the NBA history. Although him and Ross not getting a run is odd. It is odd. Really is odd. And then the second comment he made: Knicks in 7, Celtics in 6, Nuggets in 5. I'm jumping off the song. What's your prediction for Lakers Warriors, Brett?
He has Warriors in 7.
Oh, Warriors in 7. Oh. All right, well, I'm going against the odds. I'm going Lakers in 7.
Well, we knew you were going Lakers. It was whether it was 7 or 4 for you.
Well, I know they're going to. Well, it could be. I mean, it should. No, it's not going to be a sweep. It's not going to be a sweep. Who knows? Who knows?
There's
Bobby, I'm going
0%.
to be safe. I'm going 7. Lakers in 7, or but I'm either gonna go 6 or 7, but I'm going 7. I think I'm gonna go to distance.
Okay.
But I mean, I guess that's the end of the show. Like, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, like I said, I'm paying close attention. Warriors, Lakers, and I'm gonna count how many open threes the Warriors get.
Everybody gotta keep a notebook and keep counting.
I'll be right there in the chat, like open 3.
Boy, it's
Open 3.
I think it's at 10:30, right?
Yes, I'm assuming it's the late game tonight. 10 o'clock, because Miami, New York is 7:30.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a good show. Where the NFL dropped over.
Mm-hmm.
Teams are still not done getting their, free agents. So, that's gonna be up until like week 1 of the season, possibly. And got NBA playoff second round.
Yeah. Pirates play the Rays in baseball, which, if you stumbled, from under a rock looking at the baseball standings, those are 2 of the best teams in baseball. Which, who had that in their, preseason predictions? And the Yankees are in last place. Had to throw that in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I do play with fantasy. I haven't even paid attention to my fantasy team this year.
Gonna get rocked.
Are you gonna rock your sin?
No.
But yeah, it was a good show. For sure. I'm thinking about doing an episode Friday just to talk about the Lakers games and stuff. Talk about do a post show on the Lakers Friday. I mean, you got a new logo coming out for Twitch. I think it's already up. And then if you want to get a podcast shirt, go to my Instagram link in my bio. I know Brett has one. If you go to my link tree on my bio, go to the online store. All the merchandise is there. If you want to subscribe to the channel, much appreciated. Thank you, Jory, for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate all the followers, man, and I appreciate Kyle for you being my co-host, man. Like, I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful that I asked you to be my co-host. Yeah. We'll be back Friday, man. The fresh episode. So I want to push out like 2 episodes per week, like my old schedule. So Tuesdays or Fridays.
Okay.
So we can kind of have something fresh and then more fresher. So yeah, we'll be back on Friday, but enjoy the games tonight, everyone. Lakers Warriors game 1, second round. Then we got the second game of the Knicks and Heat tonight. And yeah, we are out. Oh, I'm Jordan, the host of the pot. George Halloween, host of the pot of the JJ Sports Talk Show. I'm my co-host Kyle Edwards. And with that, we're officially out. All right.